Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Real Red Talk, the authentic football fan channel made in Manchester. This is the transfer show. West Ham are closing in on a compromise for Harry Maguire. McTominay could soon be following him out the door as well. Roy Keane promoting Manchester United's third kit in what was a fire promo, if we're being completely honest, but there has been different views coming out from that. There's been a training video that's been put out of Mason Greenwood, which is a little bit awkward. Wan-Bissaka, new contract incoming after the window shuts. Rasmus Hojlund injury scare and loads of other stuff as well. So get involved. Make sure you grab a coffee and let's talk some football and transfers. I've got my trusty colleague alongside me, Mr. Shreyas Singh. How are we doing, pal? And how is everyone in the chat as well? Get your comments in.
Yeah, doing particularly well. Once again, lots of stuff coming out today. Very excited to actually, get into it. And to be very honest, I have a question for you first. Do you actually like this third kit or not?
I love it. I think it's, honestly, I think it's absolutely gorgeous. But there's other things kind of tied to it in there. But just visually, from like a visual perspective, I think it's really nice. What about you?
Yeah, I personally like it as well. Like, I think if I have to rank it, it is much better than the green kit that we have. My opinion towards it changed, after I saw, Lisandro wearing it in that post and actually saw it in real life when I saw Onana wearing it when he was coming to Carrington as well. But I think it is much better than the green kit, this one.
Yeah, I think it's out of the three. I think it's the best in my personal opinion. I just don't. Yeah. It's just the badge. The badge reminds me of very Liverpool-esque. That's the only thing about it. But apart from that, it is a nice kit. Which for United over the past 10 years, we haven't really had them. But we will talk about the kit very shortly. Jariem's just put, wow, almost got a heart attack. Very loud. Apologies if I was very loud. Let me know if my audio is okay now. I was just trying to sort it out before. But yeah, hopefully it's not too loud for you now. One thing that is making a lot of noise at the minute is Harry Maguire, Shreyas. So Manchester United rejected a £30 million bid from West Ham. Sorry, no, this was on McTominay. I'll discuss the McTominay thing and then I'll discuss Maguire. Manchester United rejected a £30 million bid from West Ham for Scott McTominay. It's up to West Ham whether they want to bid again or move on. It's understood that the offer is short of United's valuation. United would accept an offer in the region of £40 million to £45 million for McTominay and about £35 million for Maguire. Then Romano this morning put new round of talks between United and West Ham for both Maguire and McTominay will take place today. And then just recently, Sky Sports, Seth Darmish, I think his name is, has just put West Ham are closing in on a compromise for Harry Maguire. We'll kick things off with McTominay. Should United be careful being a bit stubborn on this McTominay deal, do you think?
Yeah. But I think they should do it in the opposite direction. I think they should try and get as much as they can. I think with Maguire, I would say, that the moment West Ham even offer you 32 million or 33 million, go for that offer. But I think with McTominay, I would say you can play with the price a little more. I think you can get 40 million or 45 million for Scott McTominay because of a lot of reasons. One, he's young. Second, he's, not been an injury concern for us in the time that he's been here for us. Like, he's been available for a lot of games and he's even played through injury for us. Thirdly, I think once again he's being a Manchester United midfielder and actually retained that position for like 3 seasons in a row. So like Maguire, he also has a lot of things that actually check the boxes for him when it comes to Manchester United. And I think right now we all know that West Ham are in a position where they do need someone like McTominay and they do need another midfielder in, and they're desperate for it. I think in comparison to Maguire, even if McTominay stays this season, I don't think that it will be as much of a loss as Maguire staying would be, because McTominay might play the odd game, but you still be getting Amrabat in. That's why I'm not really concerned about having McTominay at the club for one more season or not. Another thing about it is that with McTominay, there's never been a situation where he's come out and said anything negative about the club. Like, you can see that there is a passion and there is a love that he shares with the club and a bond that he shares with the club. So I really wouldn't be fussed if we can sell McTominay for 5 or 10 million more next season. I would say keep him in for this season. And I think the way actually West Ham are moving right now, Everybody knows they're cash rich after the Declan Rice deal. David Moyes has pretty much made them both a priority, signing Maguire as well as McTominay in this season. They just signed Edson Alvarez, I think, from Ajax as well. So they still need another midfielder in there to actually, fill that void left by Declan Rice. And on the other hand, I think right now United are in pole position to actually, get this deal over the line. Like they have an upper hand over West Ham over this deal.
We've got Vincent in the chat saying Ginger Goblin David Moyes said having Scott McTominay is better than having a virgin, laughing out loud. Wow, that is an out there comment if I've ever seen one before. That kind of led into my next question. I was going to say desperate to sell both or just Maguire, but you kind of answered that then with what you were saying. Wages are obviously going to have to be considered as well. I don't know where they're going to kind of meet on that. And maybe that's why people might initially first see these fees and they might be like, that's a bit cheap, which I was basically saying.
How
it's
much
a little
is
bit cheap.
McTominay on? Because as far as I remember, McTominay was on considerable wages, like reasonable wages in comparison to Maguire and other players.
I think he's on roughly about 100k a week, roughly, give or take.
Yeah.
So obviously McTominay's wages will be fine. West Ham will be all right with that, but Maguire, there's got to be a compromise there, and maybe that's why the fee will be lower than initially. But let's play hypotheticals. Let's say we get 45 million for Scott McTominay, which I don't think we will. But if we did, where would you spend that money? And with this news that's coming out about Rasmus Hojlund's injury, which we'll touch on later, do you think we'd go get an experienced striker? And is the inexperienced striker
we have to? Because I think everything that has come out about Hojlund up until now and what I've heard, it isn't any of that news isn't moving in a positive direction. Like he could be out for 2 months, he could be out for just like 1 to 2 weeks, or he could be out for 3 to 4 months. We still don't know the time period at which he can be out. The only thing that has been highlighted is that it's a big concern right now. So would I be willing to start the next season off with Rashford as a number 9? Because once again, we're going to be in the Champions League next season. You're going to have tough games. You cannot rely on Rashford as a number 9 in the Champions League. Imagine you go up against a Madrid in your group or a Bayern Munich in your group. You need a number 9, like a true number 9 to, actually be able to compete with those sort of teams. And I don't think that Rashford is capable enough to do that job for us. Off the left, I think he can still be destructive against, those sides. But I think as a number 9, he wouldn't be as efficient as we would want him to be. So I think if you get these two deals over the line, so I would still say Maguire 30 million or 32 million, then you sell McTominay for about 40 or 42 million or even a 45 million. You're able to generate 75 million in cash. Go out for Harry Kane. You pay that 100 million. Because I think right now we are in desperate need of a striker once again. Because Martial is still not back. I don't know what is going on, but he's still not back. Hojlund is going to be injured, but I think by the time he comes back, he'll be good. But there's still going to be we still have no idea as to how much that time gap will be. So whether it's a Harry Kane, I think realistic options, go out for a Harry Kane if you're able to, offload Fred, you're able to offload McTominay, and you're able to offload Maguire. And if Tony leaves as well, and Henderson leaves as well, that gives you 100 million actually to work with just off outgoings. So either go for Harry Kane, or I would even say go for a Vlahovic or go for a João Felix on loan.
Well, I was just about to say that I've got a list of strikers here who was kind of looking to move this summer. I'm going to read them out. The first one's your favourite player, Alvaro Morata, as a potential experienced striker to bring in. I already know your answer to that.
But I think it is just today that he actually extended with Atletico till 2027.
One of the clubs. His agent's just doing a madness in it around Europe. I can't even pronounce his name. Following Balogun, Arsenal player who's been linked with Inter Milan. I think that's a deal that's close to being done as well. Marcus Thuram, I think he's already moved to AC Milan. Is that right?
He's moved.
Or Inter Milan, one of them.
Inter. He's moved.
He's moved.
Yeah.
Jonathan David of Lille. Would you ever take?
He's still there. He's still there. He's still at Lille, and he's available. I think.
I know he's at Lille, but I'm saying, would you take a swing at it?
With Jonathan David, I wouldn't be that much. I wouldn't be feeling that safe. The reason being, we've already gone in for a gamble with Rasmus Hojlund.
Yeah.
If you're getting in a striker from League On, who, no doubt about it, he's been putting up good numbers. But Lacazette has been putting up great numbers in League On as well. Like he was among the top scorers, and we've seen how much he struggled in the Premier League. So I think Jonathan David would once again be a player who will be a massive gamble, and I don't want to go in for another striker who will be a gamble if he comes in. Like I haven't seen Jonathan David as regarded as one of the greatest talents in league, and I haven't seen that. At least with these other players that have been mentioned, like Goncalo Ramos, Felix, you have Vlahovic, every single one of those, even Thorams, you've seen that consistency level. You've seen a lot of talks about them, and we actually firsthand seen them do it on the big stages as well. So, but I haven't seen that with Jonathan David.
I'm just wondering if there's room for like a cherry on top at the end of the window if we do get all these or push these sales through. And there is a slight worry about Rasmus not being able to play as much. Someone like a Vlahovic towards the end of the window, or Kolo Muani, who United are definitely interested in, and we've had many links with him before, or even Harry Kane. So let's see what happens with that. Just the last question on McTominay and Maguire. Is West Ham a good move for both of them, and would they actually have a decent impact? Do you think they're capable of taking up to like mid-table, maybe a little bit higher?
I think if you put first off with Maguire, I think if you put Maguire in that system with two CDMs shielding him, in a team that does not play a high line, is very compact, sticks to their shape. Even when they're attacking, they stick to their shape, and you see at least 5 players just hanging back and not attacking. That is the system where Harry Maguire can play his best football, because he's always shielded and protected. So I think for that role, Harry Maguire is one of the best centre backs in the world. If you have to, play him in that role, like no attack, just stick to your position. You don't even have to act as a spare man. So I think Maguire could work in that way, and he can be a good player for West Ham, because once again he plays that system for England, and he was able to get into the team of the tournament of the Euros. So I think Maguire can work. McTominay might also work because he'll be playing alongside Edson Alvarez or Thomas Soucek, and their job is just to hang back. They don't really have to attack that much. With McTominay, the only thing can be, if I still don't know how David Moyes is going to fit him into his midfield trio, whether he's going to be the advanced player or whether he's going to be the player who's going to be restricting the attacks, because we all know McTominay is not at all good at picking up his runners. He turns a blind side whenever someone is running at him. So I think that will be just the only concern. But except that, in comparison to the players that they already have at their club, I think both of them will be upgrades.
Yeah. We've got Lucky Singh in the chat saying Maguire, let's move quickly. West Ham United, please agree 34 to 35 million. Harry Maguire ready to go. New adventure as for back. And we've got Ratika in the chat for you, Shreyas, with the love arts, of course. Now, I want to talk about Roy Keane promoting this third kit, because there's been a split of opinion on both sides of the coin. There's been a lot of stuff going about online. The 1958 put a tweet out about this, saying, just when you think you have seen everything, we have a club legend promoting Glazer merchandise, someone who has spoken out against its ownership, and someone we thought had strong principles. Looks like principles to some can be bought. Should have just done his job, the 1958. Others have replied to this saying, well, you guys have season tickets, so that's money in the Glazers' pockets as well. Again, I don't want to throw you on the spot. If you don't have a particular view about this, it's absolutely fine. Do you dive into all the politics of that, or are you just happy to kind of put that aside and be like, I don't necessarily have a strong feeling on this?
I think the first thing is, this is the first time I've actually seen such good kits being produced by Adidas after such a long time. So my first direction was actually towards, that I really like this kit, like this white kit with this Red Devil sign. On the other hand, though, I think once again, people have their directions to actually, see this with. People will have their different perceptions. They can be seeing this as, wow, Roy Keane is promoting the, third kit. He's standing alongside our players. He's standing alongside Harry Maguire. He's standing alongside Marcus Rashford. People see that as well. So it gives them a little bit of a connection with the club once again, because, you see a club legend actually standing with the current player. So it does give off a positive appeal. But once again, then on the other hand, people realize, who is running this club, who does this actually benefit the most, and yeah, in that way you might say that probably this wasn't the best decision. But I think right now we still don't know how things are heading. Like, genuinely, we still don't know where this club's ownership will be in the next couple of months as well. We still don't know where in which direction that will actually proceed. So I think for right now, for the timing, I'm just enjoying it. Like, at least these type of things, because
and that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, because I think it's been a hot minute that we've been able to just take a moment and enjoy things at Manchester United. It's been controversy after controversy, drama after drama after drama, frustration, frustration, frustration. So I
Mm.
just at least these sort of things I tend to just enjoy, because I think once the season starts, a lot
Not
of
dive
things are
into the
gonna, yeah,
politics.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
think once the season starts, it's going to happen automatically as well. The politics and everything, things are going into hyperdrive with the ownership, with Mason Green. There are going to be tons of situations that are going to be coming up at Manchester United. So
Mm.
till the time those things, those more important things actually don't come up, just enjoy these things.
To be honest with you, I've always obviously we built this channel. The green and gold colours are predominantly because we don't like the
Yeah,
Glazers, and that's a sign of us. What we've always been about. But it is a tricky one because it's like, well, should I not go to games and enjoy them because I know the money's going to go in the Glazers' pockets? Should I not, buy a kit of a club that I've loved since I was a kid to not put money in the pockets? Like, it's a very difficult decision. Everyone has different opinions. I've seen some of the biggest movements, some of the biggest people online wearing United shirts and getting absolutely slated for it. And then I've
yeah,
seen the same people who are at games. So it is a little bit of a minefield. And sometimes people just want to enjoy football. People don't even think about that. You can still want the Glazers out and wear a shirt. Is there a slight hypocrisy there? Yeah, but like, you're not just going to stop doing the things you love because there's a certain person in charge. But I appreciate either side of it. If you don't want to buy the kits and contribute towards the thing, absolutely understand it. If you want to go to games and you want to watch live sports because you enjoy
yeah,
it, it's something you love, then that's fine as well. But hopefully, I think one thing everybody is united on is the fact that we want them gone. And there
exactly.
was people kind of reading into this with the Roy Keane launch and saying, "Oh, maybe he's doing." Hello.
Yeah, light went out. OB
Okay.
Studio
Are we not
reconnection
live
successful.
anymore,
Yeah,
or?
yeah, we're live, we're live, we're live, we're live, we're good.
Oh, okay. I don't know which bit it's cut me off at. But basically, in general, I was just basically saying that, people are going to enjoy games, people are going to enjoy kits. Hopefully, the Glazers will go in. There was a couple of conspiracies that Roy Keane's wearing this because he knows Qatar are going and it's Qatar colours and that kind of stuff. But look, everyone's got, like I said, everyone's got an opinion. It is what it is. We'll move on from that. I think the kit itself
Yeah,
we've already spoken about. Out of the three, it's probably the nicest one in it.
exactly. Yeah. Um, I think in totality, this has been a much better year with Adidas in comparison to the previous years that we've had. Like some of the horrific designs that we've seen and kits we've seen. I think in comparison to them, this has been a bit better in
Yeah.
as to what we've been seeing. Whether it's even the green kit, whether it's the new away kit that has been launched today, or whether it is the home kit as well. I think all three of them, they've been decent enough.
Yeah. Just apologies for the hiccup in the thing. We had a slight technical issue, but
Yeah,
hopefully it's sorted for you now. The audio's fine and the visuals are fine as well. Speaking about visuals, I want to move on to the Mason Greenwood. There was a video that came out, and have you seen it?
no,
Have you managed to watch it?
no.
No. Right. I don't know if anyone in the chat has seen it as well, but late last night there was some videos leaked of Mason Greenwood in training. Taking shots, dribbling, blah, blah, blah. And I am not joking when I say this. He didn't hit the fucking target once. Once.
It's gonna
Like, he
happen.
looked awful.
Yeah,
No, honestly, it looked so bad. Like, he missed every single shot. It looked slow. And apparently, I've seen a report on Twitter before, and again, it is Twitter, that they threatened the guy who was videoing it. So the guy who was filming the session, apparently Greenwood or his entourage or something threatened him, apparently. How true that is, I'm not entirely sure. But does that surprise you at all? That no one's taken him out on loan, have they? So do you think maybe
exactly.
they had a closer look at him and they're like,
First off, I think it's not even a surprise if that's happening. This guy hasn't played football for I don't know how much time now, like 2 years, or I don't know how much time as far as that he's actually played first team football or even football in general or trained with professional footballers. So it will take him some time to actually get up to speed. Even if he has to go out on loan or whether he has to play for us, either direction, it will take him time to actually catch up to speed. For a professional footballer, not training a month takes a toll on your body as well. It takes you,
yeah,
some, like we've seen Casemiro, he was suspended for like a run of 4 to 5 games. He came back it still took him 2 to 3 games to actually, get up to speed, like to see the real version of Casemiro. It took us 2 to 3 match days. Now imagine that with a player who's once again not on the level of Casemiro, not as professional or not as experienced, hasn't played football at all for the past 2 or 2.5 seasons. And there's once again no certainty about his future, whether he has to go out on loan, whether he's going to stay at United. So I think it will take him at least some time to catch up to speed. And by the way it has been leaked, of course, some clubs who might have been interested might have just diverted their attention a little bit now.
Yeah, well, if there was anyone in Turkey, Spain, Italy, wherever on the planet who was interested in him, after seeing that video, they're like, that looks like him. Is this him? Is this actually him? Exactly. And then more and more videos were coming out, and I was like, it is. He can't hit a barn door. His shots look like they've got no power on him. Like you said, 2 years away from the Premier League, such a long time. Like, development-wise, not being trained,
especially for a youngster as well.
And especially when he's been deprived of coaching under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Yeah.
Really, he's missed out on like fucking 5 years of development, or 4 or 5 years of development, which is
he has.
Absolutely mad. Read out a few more comments. 1 second. Vincent saying the new kit came out today. Where was the 1958? I didn't see them outside the megastore like they did with the home. Just saying. Lucky Singh saying, Sam, I watch games at the pub. I'm not giving nothing to this club. Charlie Malman says a little hiccup. Yeah, apologies about that. His name is Nick, not Sam. Don't worry about it. It's absolutely fine. Right, on to the next news topic. This is going to be like a conveyor belt here because there's so much things to get through. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, new contract. So Manchester United intend to open formal talks with Aaron Wan-Bissaka over a new contract. United are preparing discussions with his representatives, which are scheduled to commence after the current transfer window closes. United have decided they want to extend his deal, which will include an increase on his 100 grand per week wages. Would you be happy to tie him down for another few years, Shreyas?
Yeah, I think once again, he's one of those players who will be instrumental next season. Like, for example, take into account that, we're in the Champions League. Imagine, we go into the round of 16. We win in the away leg, like a 2-1 win or, 1-0 win. And then you come back to Old Trafford. You would want someone like Aaron Wan-Bissaka to be at the right-hand side, to offer that defensive cover. I think he's going to be very important because, once again, what Diogo Dalot offers us, Wan-Bissaka can't, and what Wan-Bissaka offers us, Diogo Dalot can't. It's good to have these differing profiles, one who can provide you with so much defensive capabilities and so much defensive structure that it will actually tire out attackers to actually, come out and hit us from that left-hand side. And with Diogo Dalot, when he plays on that right-hand side as well, the way he's able to connect with Antony, even during preseason, of course, there were the certain mistakes by him, but whenever you see him progressing forward, he does seem to generate a lot of attacks. He does seem to put in a lot of overlapping runs and create overloads, which in turn, help in playing the way Ten Hag actually wants to play off from the flanks. So I think both of them are going to be extremely important, and it is good that, we are actually tying him down because, once again, it builds the confidence of the player as well, that the manager wants him to stick around. It builds up his morale, it builds up his confidence, and the way Wan-Bissaka took his spot last season, like he didn't play football at all, I think, for the first 5 to 6 months. Dalot got injured. Dalot was overplayed. He came in and by far was one of the better right backs in the league when he came in, till the FA Cup final as well. So if he is able to bring back that form of last season during the start, and then you've got likes of Luke Shaw, Lisandro Martinez, and Rafael Varane, I don't see us conceding a lot of goals.
Do you think he still has things that need to be improved on? And if so, what are they?
Of course, I think there are definitely, especially with Ten Hag, as he said, there is always scope for improvement. You've seen us winning like games like 4-1 and 3-0 last season as well, and he's come out and said there are still major areas in this team that still need improvement. And that is one of the things I actually like about Ten Hag as well, that, even when we as fans might be seeing a really good game, and we might be seeing a really good win, he wants to still take us up another level. And I think that is why the team that we are building right now, it is actually going to scare a lot of teams next season. And certain areas, I think, of course, striker position is somewhere that definitely, needs to be improved upon. But except that, in the defensive line, I'm really happy with the players that we've got at the moment. I think we've got the perfect balance in there. And we've got the perfect versatility in there as well. That you've got the likes of Luke Shaw who can cover in there. You've got the likes of Victor Lindelof who can actually come on and be absolutely solid for us. Then I think even in the midfield, I'm pretty sorted. You've got one of the best in Casemiro. You've got Mason Mountain now, who I think will once again be very, very important next season. Bruno Fernandes in there, who's an absolute engine. On the bench, you will be getting Amrabat, you will be getting Ericsson, Kobe Menu. I think once again these three will be essential next season as well. I think wingers, we are oversaturated and we've got a perfect mix. Just leaves us with a striker.
Yeah, we'll talk about the striker very, very shortly. But I just think to go from where Wan-Bissaka was to where he was like dead in the water, everyone was saying sell him, just didn't look up for it, and now he's basically taken over Delo in that position or close to it. Is full credit to him. Like everyone written him off, and he was like, no, not just yet. Still got plenty in the tank, and he's still very young as well. I think that's one thing I've noticed about a lot of the signings and a lot of the players that we've got now. The age profile is really, really good. I think Delo and Wan-Bissaka are 23, 24. Lissandro's 25. Hojlund 20. Onana 27. Mount 24. Like he's
Rashford
building
is young as well.
The future of the club.
Rashford young, Anthony young, Sancho young.
21. Sancho young, Ahmad, Garnacho. Like there's so much talent there, young players blended in with them experienced ones like Casemiro, like Bruno Fernandes, and like Ericsson and these guys. And that's where titles are won and lost, not just with that, but like if you look at our success in the 90s, it was all, class of 92 blended in with the really experienced players, and that's how we won trophies. So I'm liking what Ten Hag's doing. And speaking of the young players bringing in, a lot of weight on his shoulders, big talent is someone like Rasmus Hojlund, Treyas, and his reports coming out in the last hour or so, a couple of concerning ones coming out from Matt Hughes, and he's been saying that some sources at United are indicating that Hojlund's back injury issue is more serious than the club disclosed after completing his transfer from Atlanta this week. Apparently, he's got a stress response hotspot in his back. It's unlikely that Hojlund will be able to play 2 matches a week for some time. United are adamant that following intensive investigations during Rasmus Hojlund's medical, there is no fundamental issue with his back, and that all requires is a period of rest. 2 conflicting things there, so it kind of contradicts each statement. But is this a bit of a gamble? Are you worried at all about this news that's coming out?
I think by the looks of it as to what is being reported, I think he'll be there in a couple of months. But I still think that at least for 2 months, if it is the way it is being reported that he's got a problem with his back, take your time and get that rest and then come in. Because
that's not an injury that you can mess about with, is it?
Exactly.
To be honest, you can't.
And I seriously don't want us to be in a situation where, Hojlund comes in, he overstrains his body and then gets injured for a long time, because that leaves us with no striker at all. At least for the time being, he's the only striker we've got. So get him the rest, whether it's a month, whether it's a couple of months or 2.5 months, have him have that rest. Because the moment he comes back, he's going to be the focal point of that attack. He's the only guy who can be there. There is still no update about Anthony Martial as to when he comes back. Whether he comes back next season, in the first month, second month, third month, fourth month. Absolutely nothing about Anthony Martial up until now. So let him have his rest and hope that Rashford is just having his finishing boots on, because if he still does, I think he can get us goals. But
the thing is, he hasn't had them on as a during pre-season. He only scored 1 goal. I know you can't look too much into pre-season, but I don't think he likes that position either. He did an interview with Gary Neville in the overlap, and he was saying in that how he prefers playing on the left. You're not involved in the game as much as a 9. And I think what Chivy said on when we did the big season preview, if no one's seen that, by the way, in the chat, make sure you do check that out. It's really, really fun. Some bold predictions in there, but he said on it, he was like, well, if we're missing a striker for the first couple of weeks or whatever, that's points, really, that could be missing if we're not finishing the chances. United are notoriously known to create chances but just never finish them. Exactly. And if you haven't got your star striker you bought in for 70 million euros, then that will be points dropped effectively, especially within the first 5 games that we've got. Because here we got Tottenham away, Arsenal away,
Tottenham,
Brighton,
Brighton, we've got Nottingham Forest, I think, and we've got
Wolves.
Wolves are going to be a mess. If you've not got a striker.
Yeah, just how defensive they play, you need a focal point in there. So I don't know if he's going to gamble it with Sancho.
I think he goes Sancho false 9. That is what I'm actually thinking
to drag him out. players in behind. Yeah, that's what I think. I agree with you.
I think he knows. I think deep down, even he knows that all we've got right now, right as of now, are wingers, and we are the most. I think we are the most deadly right now of the flanks. So if Sancho, I don't think that Sancho is the type of false nine who gets you goals, but I think he's the type of false nine who can be a creator for other players. I think he can be someone who can play in the likes of Antony, play in the likes of Rashford or Garnacho or Ahmad or Firmino. Exactly. So I think if he is able to do it in the Prem, at least even if he does it against Wolves, I think at least for the first 5 to 6 games we can still make do. But after those 5 to 6 games, I still don't know till how much time Sancho can keep it up.
It's a comment from Charlie Malman saying, not going to listen to Mark Hughes. He is not a doctor. It's not Mark Hughes, the United player. Matt Hughes is a journalist. So, yeah, apologies if you thought I said Mark. It's Matt Hughes. It's not Mark Hughes as a commentator saying, like, oh, he's definitely he's back. You don't have an absolute Scooby-Doo about anything medical. So I'm with you on that. But it is Matt Hughes who's reporting this. He was a very good journalist. So I tend to believe it. The transfer would not have gone through if there was something terribly wrong with Hojlund. Sometimes all these things don't show up on medicals. So, to be honest, I agree with you. United would have done the due diligence and the medical staff would have done the due diligence. Absolutely. But there has been rare cases, where they signed a player and something popped up that they hadn't seen. But again, I'm not too worried in the sense where it'd be like, right, this will just be a continuous issue like Martial. I just think he needs a little bit of rest.
Exactly.
And then we can kick off the season, because that is the last thing we need. Another Martial on the bench. Like, fucking hell. Imagine that for 5 years. Like, definitely not. Don't want that. Jim James is in the chat saying Greenwood he knows something we don't, or maybe we do know something. I've spoken to a couple of people about that, but let's see what happens. Other bits of news I want to quickly dive into, because there's so much stuff at the minute. Samuel Lucker has put out before that Jose Mourinho and Louis van Gaal were denied the request of building a new players' lounge during the 10 years, but apparently Erik ten Hag request was accepted, and apparently we're as well. Like we stay in a hotel before the games. Apparently we're moving from that, and this is maybe being integrated with it. But this just shows again very quickly that he's a very methodical man, Ten Hag. The length of the grass, moving stands over, moving where they're staying, certain things like that. It's detail, isn't it?
Yeah, and once again, these are very small details, but might affect a player's performance. Like,
yes,
they are the smallest of things, but they can actually have an effect of the player's efficiency and performance. So, I think from his end, Ten Hag is practically doing everything that he can to get the best out of his team. And I think deep down, even he knows that, this season, there's going to be a lot of expectations now. Because barring United fans, all that the rest of the people are going to see is that Ten Hag has spent a lot of money. He spent a lot of money on Hojlund, he spent a lot of money on Onana, and he spent a lot of money on Mason Mount. That's all that they'll be seeing, and I think from his end, he's just trying to, get the best out of these players. I think if these players are able, I don't think that these players are going to be not, doing the job that was intended by them in Ten Hag's eyes. I think all of them are going to be important. And I think most of them are going to have a very good season. And by the looks of things, as to, how, other teams and other platforms are actually reporting stuff about United, you can see that air that, there is a concern that they feel with United that, they can actually hurt us. They can actually, go up a level from what they did last season. Like last season, we got third. I don't know how we did, but we still managed to get third. This season, he's got a striker who can do a much better job than what Weghorst can do. This season, he's got a better midfielder in Mason Mount in comparison to Eriksen when it comes to hitting on transitions and, being physical enough to, fend off incoming attacks. And now he's got someone like Onana who I think does revolutionize the play that, we actually play out from the back. So there have been some massive upgrades, and I think for the first time in so many years, I would say that it's a good time to be a Manchester United fan right now, because we are heading on on an upwards trajectory.
I think it's even significant the fact that like previously they denied Jose Mourinho and denied Louis van Gaal.
Yeah,
just little things like this, and then even in the market, I think Van Gaal had like a certain list that he wanted and didn't get any of his priorities. Mourinho obviously wanted players that he didn't get. But now it's very, very clear that they're backing Erik ten Hag with the players that he wants, especially with the decisions that he's making. And I remember one of the things before he came in, and he said he kind of came into the interview and he had like a blueprint of everything that he wanted to do, and he was really, really impressed with the level of detail that he had gone into. And things like this just kind of add to that. So, yeah, no doubt in my mind that Erik ten Hag is lighting things up, much like the transfer window at the minute. Let's dive back into the window because there's some other bits of news coming out as well. Seth Darmesh for Sky Sports has put out that Fulham are going back in for Fred, apparently, because something happened with Galatasaray when the moves broke. It's just time to move this deal on this week, innit? Like, we need to just fucking get this sealed and done.
Yeah, I think, once again, it's 10 million or 12 million that you can easily get. And I think with Fred, I think this is the last time you can actually cash out on him. Like, imagine the kind of season Fred's had last season was one of his better seasons, and you're still just able to, generate like 10 to 14 million for him. Imagine a couple of years down the line how much we would get for him if we're getting 10 or 14 million right now. So
not a lot. I remember you, Shreyas, saying even before Fred got linked with anything at all, every time we asked you, like,
during the game of Barcelona in which he actually scored, I said that I think this is the best time to cash out on him.
Yeah, and everyone was like, no, McTominay, Maguire, and you was like, no, I think this is probably the best time now to cash out on Fred. And it seems like they are doing. I just hope they get somewhere closer to 20 than 10, but even it seems unrealistic.
I think at least 20 to 25 would be a good deal for him. 20, 25, at least you can get a good deal out of him. And if Fulham are even willing to pay at like 15 or 17 million right now, I would take that offer. After the kind of offers we'd had from Galatasaray, I would take the 15 or 17 million.
Agreed. It's very quiet in the chat. Get your comments in. Let me know how you're feeling about everything we've spoken about. Last one on transfers. Bayer Leverkusen going to make an offer for Kovar. How much? Are you disappointed in that? Do you like Kovar? And just in general.
Personally, I am very impressed by Kovar. During the time of his time at Sparta Praha, he looked very, very good. During pre-season, he was very solid at the back as well. His distribution was quite precise, and the way he was able to command the box was actually very impressive as well for a keeper at such a young age. Bayer Leverkusen, I think if Bayer Leverkusen are in for him once again, if you do sell him, I wouldn't want us to sell him like we sold Charlie Savage, or the way we sold Zidane Iqbal, like
a million
or 2 million, because to be very honest with you,
should we command?
Kovar is not a million or a couple of a 2 million player. Like, when you see him play, you can see that he's going to be a solid keeper in the years to come. And we see graduates and academy products from clubs like Liverpool, clubs like City going in for 14 million, 15 million, 25 million.
James Trafford.
So
example.
Ryan Brewster went for like 25 million as well. So why not at least get 15 or 20 for Kovar if you can? And Leverkusen are a team who can actually pay that as well.
I think in reality we'll probably get 10 million or 8 to 10 million. I think the market's weird in it because you just don't know what people are going to go for. Obviously, I'd love an Elanga type of fee, but I think he is very young. He's not played much in the Premier League. So, I don't know. I don't even know who in by Leverkusen's keeper, Hirideke, the Finnish goalkeeper. So, he's obviously not going to go in as a number one. He'll be one that they'll develop and maybe eventually push into that role. But I think, 8 to 10 million, if you get that, then I wouldn't be too fussed. I do like Kovar, though, because I thought he'd be secondary to Onana, like number 2, and then you have Heaton as number 3.
Depends on the fact if Henderson leaves or not. I think if Henderson leaves, he stays.
Yeah, well, that's another deal we just need to get over the fucking line. Like, so much stuff going on at the minute. And that kind of concludes into the final question that I wanted to ask. What would you rate this window out of 10? So, incomings, if we got Onana, Mount, Hojlund, if we bring in Amrabat and Todibo as well, and then outgoings, Elanga, Fred, Maguire, McTominay, Henderson, what would you rate that transfer window at 10?
If we're able to offload those players, then I would rate it a 7. And I think and if I just 7 as just evaluating the transfer window, evaluating it from Manchester United standards, a 20 on 10, the way they've progressed. Like, you're able to get in like 3 players before this, during preseason, and they've been able to play in preseason. We have never done that. You can go out and check the records. We've never done that. And all of these players are integral players. All of them are going to be starting 11 players. They're not going to be players who are just going to be add-ons into the bench. So for me, it would be a 7. And I think if you're able to offload Maguire, McTominay, Fred, or the likes of Dean Henderson, like these 4 players, if you offload, you are able to generate 80 or 85 million. Gives you
wages as well.
Wages
Big wages
are all
gone.
Yeah. And
yeah,
you are in the zone of getting that striker you want. You're genuinely in that zone. I think for 85 million or even 80 million, you can get a perfectly decent striker who can do it in the Premier League.
Yeah. Whether United reinvest that money or not, I'm not entirely sure. Cause you've seen Maguire, if he's sold, we've got Johnny Evans as backup. I'm like, no, don't give me none of that shit. If we sell Maguire, that money, I don't want that going anywhere else. Reinvest that into a centre-back like Todibo. But look at the incomings price-wise. Onana 43, Mount 55, Hojlund 65, let's just say, Amrabat 30 and Todibo 30 as well, or Amrabat 25. Just over 200 million.
Yeah.
That's pretty good business, to be honest. Like Hojlund could have been cheaper, yeah, sure. But as a total, I think the money-wise it's good. And then Elanga 15, Fred, let's say 15, that's 30, Maguire 30, 60, McTominay 40, that's 100. And then Henderson 20, 120 million.
And if Donny leaves on top of that is another 10. So 110.
Yeah. Yeah, I would rate that probably pushing it towards an 8 out of 10 if we manage to do that business. It's got to be an 8 out of 10 for me personally. 100%. So let's hope we can.
If sign a Harry Kane, that makes it a 10. If we sign a Kane, because of that, it's a 10.
Oh yeah, if you get Kane on top of that, it's mustard simply because the Hojlund situation in the minute. Kane can just come in seamlessly, just slot in, and then there's no way near as much pressure on Hojlund because you know Kane's just going to come in, he's going to do the business, he's going to bag. Like it's as simple as that. It's going to happen,
and he'll have a perfect mentor to actually learn off with. He'll have a perfectly good mentor to learn off with. Yeah,
the best out of anyone. He's the leader as well. He's the captain. I don't see it happening, but I really it'd be so good if we did get him
in. Kane, Anthony, and Rashford.
It'd be great. It'd be great. Shah Sam saying there's no way we're getting more than 10 million for Kovac. United board, they can't get more than 10 million. We agree with you, Shah Sam. We're just saying what we would personally want, of course. Scores in 6 out of 10. I think that's a bit harsh, to be honest with you, 6 out of 10, but each to their own. Jay McGregor's in the chat. Pick up to Jay saying 7 out of 10 if Hojlund gets 30 this season, then 8.5. Again, that's another thing that we hadn't even considered, is it? Like metrics. If they put in certain figures and they turn out to be the players that we thought they think they will, then a lot of people hating on Mount in that big season preview that we did the other day, yesterday. Was it? We did a big season preview yesterday.
Yeah.
Feels like days ago. But yeah, few of the lads hating on Mason Mount. Shah Sam says Amrabat and Todibo will make it a 7. No Kim Min-jae, no Kane, says scoreboard. Fair enough. That's fair enough. I think Onana, Mount, Hojlund, Amrabat, Todibo is a very good window.
Yeah,
8 out of 10. It is missing that star man that you want in there, because all of them are at a certain level, but I don't think the big stars. You know, if Qatar would have come in, they would have tied the name to a Harry Kane or a Victor Osimhen or someone like that.
Someone at least, and it would be a big figure. But I just have a sneaky feeling, if not Kane, someone else. Who would it be? I still have no clue, but I think it would be a striker. If it's not Kane, it will be someone else, but I think there is a marquee signing coming up.
I don't know who though.
Yeah,
I don't know who. It will be. It will be a surprise.
You never know with Ten Hag who he comes up with as well.
I know, but I just don't know. Like money wise, I really don't know. I mean, the season kicks off. When is it? Monday. 15th. No, it kicks off Friday, but we play on Monday.
Yeah.
And then the transfer window shuts. I think was it 2nd of September. Usually, I don't know if they changed the date on that. So you've got 3 weeks. 3 weeks to bring someone in. There's issues with the striker. They don't know if he can handle that burden, if there's enough goals in there. Obviously, Mason Greenwood ain't going to come into the team and do bits, judging from that fucking video we was discussing before. So I don't know. I really don't know, but I hope there is. I've always been open to the move with João Felix. I've always been open to that option of him coming in. But I think he's close to Barcelona, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Barcelona are close to him. A lot of Saudi clubs have actually approached him as well. So, but I still think if we go in for Felix, we could get him. Like, we genuinely could. And except that there are going to be options available to us as well. Like you mentioned, Kolo Muani Frankfurt are ready to let him go for 60 million. Like, and that's a
Do
figure
you
that,
think?
yeah, they've. I think it was PSG who actually contacted them, and they said, and PSG offered them 45 million or 40 million in totality, and they said at least 60 million. So 60 to 65 million you can get in Randall Kolo Muani.
I've seen different things about Kolo Muani. I've seen that not Leverkusen, sorry, fucking Frankfurt, apologies, are willing to be stubborn because of the Euros next year. Kolo Muani is going to be a heavy feature for them in the Euros, and they know that if he performs the way they think he's going to be, his price might drive up. But I don't know, maybe United could go in towards the end of the window and say, yeah, here's 60, 70 million. What do you think about that? Would you take it? And we've just seen Gonzalo Ramos go for
80,
a similar price to Hojlund as well, haven't we?
Yeah.
Same price. It's like, that's a strange one. United would have gone in then.
120, 100.
Hope it's not a PSG reject, says Scoreboard. Jay McGrogan says, I've said Felix all window long. Nick should back me on this. I agree. I do like Felix. I mean, Freya's like Felix as well.
I have been wanting Felix from the last window.
Yeah. I even watched him at Chelsea. And even at a turbulent time with the environment that was going on, I like things that I saw from him. I think he could work really well. I know he doesn't necessarily work well with Bruno at times with the national team, but I think we've got a different system. I think he could flourish. I think he could easily play that false 9. He can fill in on the wing spot as a 10. Like he can play a multitude of positions. So
with Felix.
He would take that burden off. Yeah. Champions League experience, international experience. Like he's got it all. So you just take that burden off whoever it is, and I think it'd be perfect. I think it's the only one now who's seasoned, really, really talented, and available on loan. Like, is there anyone else in that bracket?
Yeah. I think. In comparison to the other players, he's actually really, really gifted, and you can see that when he performs. Like, I would still say, like, imagine an Arsenal pick him up, you would be seeing insane numbers coming out of him. He needs a particular system he needs an attacking system to actually work with. And I think right now only United and Arsenal can offer that. And I don't want us to actually lose out on João Felix yet again.
I don't know these links with Barcelona again. I don't know how they're doing it because financially, they are an absolute minefield.
With everything going on, they still managed to pay 150 or 200 million every single window. Every single window.
That seems like the most likely destination, doesn't it? I think. But look, United should be all over that because we was looking at it in January. We ended up getting Vegas, which didn't work out the way we thought it would. So I would revisit that personally. Shah Sam saying Bernardo goes to Barca, we get De Jong. That would be a solid 9. That is dreamland for me personally because Bernardo Silva, I think, is just about to sign a new contract with Man City, or he's been offered a new contract with Manchester City. And De Jong, it's gone. It's gone. That's out of my mind now. I'm not even a glimmer. That's completely done. I don't think we'll ever sign Frenkie de Jong. And I've just managed to move on for that. So thank you for bringing that trauma back into my life. Jay McGoggin saying Shah Sam. He's basically agreeing with that. Saying Shah Sam, we won't ever be getting de Jong, mate. Sorry. Henry Jones says I liked the kit when I was first leaked, but seeing it on players, I don't think I like it. It's a bit meh. I really like the white kit. I mean, I don't like. I don't want to encourage people to buy it, but I really, really, I wouldn't influence people to buy it anyway because let's be honest, I'm not a celebrity or anything. But the point is, like, I like it, but I don't want to say that and like, oh yeah, go buy it. I'm a fan. I think it looks nice. I've seen it on the players.
Nice.
Rashford, the long sleeve, looks very nice. Casemiro's rocking it. Obviously, Roy Keane, you saw rocking it as well. Some of I looked at the comments on the thing yesterday on the post. But they dropped the promo.
For
it. Some of the comments were like, "Oh, that's defo Qatarin," or understudy to Casemiro. Like loads of funny on it. So you can always rely on the internet, can't you, to be creative with it?
Yeah.
So interesting times. Oh, it's strict.
I actually have to finish this off. I have one last question, which is actually going to
hit me with it. I always like being questioned because you know what? Before you do, I always like being asked questions because I'm always the host, so I never really fully get my opinion out there. It's always me asking other people questions and asking people in the chat. So please do ask me a question.
Barring Rashford, who gets the most goals next season from the wings?
On the wing, I would probably say Garnacho. To be honest with you, the way he's playing, from what I've seen in pre-season, Antony, I'm still not 100% fully sold on him. I don't know what's going on with him. He's up and down. Sometimes plays really well. Sometimes first half he has a stinker.
And then he suddenly turns us in the second half and is a world beater.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You just never know what to expect from him. Sancho, I don't know what position he's going to play. I genuinely don't know what position he's going to play next season, honestly. And like we said before, if he does play the false nine, he's not going to be that kind of where he's getting bagging a lot of goals. He'll be assisting everybody else. So he'll have to be that unselfish player like a Firmino. So I don't see him getting a lot of goals. So it would have to be Garnacho for me. I think last season, even with the cameos that he got, he had like 6 goals and 5 assists.
9 goals.
I think he can get
9 goals and
figures.
assists in total. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he can get into double figures this season from everything I've seen of him. But it's weird because he's going to be stunted because he loves playing on the left. Rashford's position is on the left.
Yeah.
It's like, I wish he was a right winger because you know for a fact then like he's probably more of a chance playing. Do you know what I mean? If you got Rashford and Garnacho on either side, like
you're killed on the wings.
That is deadly.
Yeah,
that is absolutely deadly. But
I just have a feeling that if Antony is able to find that consistency, I think he can genuinely get like 20 goals next season if he is able to find that consistency because he has it in his locker.
That's a big if.
Yeah. I think last season
he does have it in a locker.
Yeah, he does because he gets in the right. The most annoying part is he gets in the right positions at the right time with the correct, with the correct players around him. It's just final decision making and his, the type of shots that he takes sometimes. If he is able to correct that, then we've got once again a hell of a player on our hands on the right hand side.
Yeah, Shah Sam saying Antony to justify his price tag this season. I hope so. I really, really hope so. Scoreboard saying Palestra. I mean, I saw reports this morning.
Yeah, he's
Palestra,
FC 20.
Well, I saw something else with another club being linked with something with an obligation to buy or something. I was like, whoa, steady on. Like, don't be
Ten Hag won't let that happen.
Out there. No, just loan him, man. Let's see how he develops and then bring him back. Yeah. Shah Sam would love to see that, bro. What he's obviously referring to Antony. Yeah, let's hope. We've got a lot of young talents in the squad.
Yeah.
It's time to get into that mold now because Sancho do or die this season. Antony needs to kick on. Will Rashford replicate the form that he showed
in a couple of months' time,
last season? Ahmad's back. Mainu's in there. Garnacho's in there. Like, it's exciting, but they need to prove it now. Like, it's not the youngsters, so not necessarily Mainu because only just coming into it, but the others. It's time to start
Antony
putting in performances.
I think more than Antony, I think this is a do or die season for Jadon Sancho. Like, if he doesn't get it right this season, he's shipped off. Has to. I think there's a quality player in there. You can see, like, he has a certain level of intelligence. He's really good on the ball. I just think he needs a certain position tailored to fit him and other players around him. But we say he's that guy who needs pieces of the puzzle being moved around him. Maybe he could be that focal point as the false nine and have you Rashford making the runs, Garnacho's, Bruno's, Mount, whoever it is. Maybe he can be. Maybe it might surprise a lot of people. It might star as a false nine in some of the games. Yeah.
When we're playing a low block or whatever. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? The future of Manchester United mystery at the minute. I suppose that's what makes it exciting going into the season because there's a lot of question marks and they're going to be answered very shortly because we play Wolves on Monday night. So just as a reminder for you guys this week, content-wise, I'm trying to think. Tomorrow will be your usual kind of breaking news show, transfers. Friday, you've got Eric Ten Hag press conference ahead of the Wolves game on Monday. And we'll have an FPL review on Friday as well to look at the games ahead, see who people are transferred in. If you haven't joined yet, I think the code is J5AMSC.
I think it is.
That's our fantasy league code.
Yeah.
And if you win the league, you win a random retro jersey. So make sure you get in before Friday because that's when the deadline is. And we'll be doing a review of that every single week. Jay Motti, I think, is on Thursday night from Stretford Paddock. He's going to hop on. We're going to discuss the upcoming season and many other things as well. And there's loads of news breaking around United consistently. So we'll probably be live in between them kind of things. And we're going to start going live on Instagram and TikTok as well at the same time to bring some more people in. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. I appreciate everyone in the chat, all you guys that have been interacting. As always, you're the reason why we do this. So I appreciate every single one of you. And Treyas, the message is the same to you. Thank you for joining me, mate.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And yes, make sure to stick around. We'll be live once again tomorrow. So yes, thank you for all the support that you have shown us. We are very near to hitting 3,000 subscribers. And we are still trying to, hit that mark before the season kicks off. So we've got a week. So please help us in, provide us the assist to actually get to 3K before the season starts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you see all these the kind of graphics at the bottom there for the socials, TikTok, Twitter, or X as it's called, whatever, and Instagram. Make sure you drop us the follows on them, because when we go live, we'll always post it and you can just click the link there. Sometimes the notification bell doesn't work on Finger. Oh, one last thing. Sorry, I will let you go after this. One last thing. I've just done the members video. It's going to be on Todibo, the centre back. Just a close look at him, positives, negatives, how much we could get him for, how he fits into the system, and will it happen if Maguire leaves? So that is your members video. If you want to become a member, click the link in the bio or click the join button next to the notification bell and become part of the Real Red Ultras for exclusive content, a badge next to your name, and a chance to feature on the show. Take care, guys. We will see you tomorrow. If anything breaks tonight, obviously we'll go live as well. So we might be seeing you soon. Who knows? See you in a bit.